Hello, Vortex. So, a lot of people mistakenly think that yours truly has asbergers. Um, I will tell you what I have, okay? It's undifferentiated schizophrenia. And no, I was not diagnosed, okay? I figured it out my damn self. And a lot of people don't think that a diagnosis is valid if you do your own research and pay attention to your own personal experience that you've literally had your entire life. That doesn't count. You have to pay somebody to do this that doesn't actually know you. Because keep in mind, when people talk to psychiatrists, most of the time they're not totally honest with them. Probably because psychiatrists are pieces of crap. And if you have schizophrenia, like legit, you probably know that they're full of it. And so you're not going to tell them about things like the party that follows you around everywhere you go, which is why you don't need a lover or a group of friends to follow you around like a group of packing dogs, you know? We don't need that. That doesn't mean that I don't have friends. And I've definitely had lovers, okay? Not proud of that, but it's true. Used to be a total degenerate. Because I had political beliefs that were way worse than the ones that I have now, okay? Well, I know that people think I have Asperger's because I talk a lot. But that's kind of silly. I feel like people just have a very, very limited amount of knowledge about, like, psychological things, you know? So they know about autism. They know about, like, bipolar disorder and OCD. And that's pretty much it. And I've noticed that people use the whole schizophrenia thing as either like a trope or they use it as a pejorative. So whenever they're, you know, jumping from subject to subject, people like to say like, oh yeah, I'm schizo. Or like, if they're conspiratorial in any kind of way, they say that they're schizo. But then when somebody else is too conspiratorial and somebody else is saying things like, yeah, voting is dumb, then that person is regarded as a schizo in a derogatory fashion. Isn't that funny how that works? It's almost as if these people are just terrible, you know, and they don't even know what they're talking about. But I don't want to invalidate anybody's experience because I know how obnoxious it is to be invalidated for mine, okay? And so, if it seems like I'm doing that, I apologize. I just want people to know that there's a better way than taking psychiatric medication and being some guinea pig, you know? Like, I legitimately feel bad for people that do that because they're throwing it away. They don't realize that that's what they're doing. But I think that they are pressured by society to do this. Case in point, the number of people that take an antidepressant and end up dead within a couple of weeks because they hang themselves in their basement or they shoot themselves or whatever they do. It's disgusting, isn't it? It's disgusting what our society pushes on people all because they're having an experience that they don't understand or an experience that they're inconvenienced by. So I don't just think it's people being pansies or whatever. I feel like it's a lot of people that are misdirected. And it's those people that are like, you know, decent people that end up committing suicide. Whereas like the people that you really wish would end it, you know, they never do. They just keep on going. And then they vote for Joe Biden, you know? So, sorry, we don't give a fuck about that. I talk a lot of shit. A lot of my friends are liberal. So, I really don't care about that. If you're a person of substance, if you're a person that's interesting and funny, really all I care about is being funny. I don't care about shit else. Like, you could be a horrible person, but if you're funny, you're fine with me, you know? Because you make me laugh, and I can always twist it. You know, I have a friend of mine that has borderline personality, and she's always playing the victim about stuff, but she's hilarious. Like, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And people say women aren't funny. I'm like, dude, they think they're victims. Like, that's hilarious, isn't it? Considering all the stuff that we can do to men, all the stuff that we get away with. We can kill a baby and we still call ourselves victims, you know? Like, that's pretty funny. I mean, it's not funny. You know what I'm saying. Or maybe you don't. You're probably gone because you don't know what I'm saying. You're stupid and lame and you shouldn't slit your wrists about that. Anyway, yes. So, my humor is pretty dark. I know that. And that's fine. It's supposed to be dark. I'm an illegitimate child that was born on Thanksgiving Day to a woman that didn't even want me, okay? It's like, everything in my life is ironic. The fact that I'm Orthodox, the whole reason why I showed up at the Orthodox Church was because I wanted a religious exemption from the, you-know-what. And then I just ended up really, really loving the church and wanting to learn more about it. And I picked up the church hymns pretty quick, and then I joined the choir, and then I got baptized on Lazarus Saturday. So, yeah, it's been almost a year since I've been Orthodox, which is, like, just incredible, you know? The fact that I started off a liberal degenerate doing stand-up comedy, and then I end up this born-again Orthodox Christian conservative. I mean, that's pretty insane, you know? That's not a 180, that's like a 360 or higher. So, anyway, no Asperger's. Though, yeah, I definitely was inoculated enough times that, like, autism, you know, would be plausible, right? You know, my parents aren't religious, and I was in a public school, unfortunately. But, you know, I try to make the most of it because I look at everything like it's a gift. It might be a curse for a while, but eventually it'll be a gift, and I'll learn from it, and I'll evolve and grow as a person and learn from that experience. And unfortunately, most people in society don't look at anything like that. They just look at everything like, here's another opportunity where I can whine. Here's another opportunity where I can exaggerate things that really aren't that bad and make it seem like I'm going through a way worse experience. Now, I realize that that's not entirely fair for me to say that because I don't know what it's like to be anybody else but me. But, you know when people are playing the victim. You know when people, like, they could try a little harder to look at things with a more positive perspective. But, you know, it's just easier to not do that, especially when you live in a society that encourages you to play victim. You live in a society that encourages you to take psychiatric medication, all because, you know, you're sad sometimes, or you don't understand the best way to handle your emotions. So, it's like, people are pretty fucked, and, like, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how most people in Western civilization don't have much of a chance, you know, considering the options that are provided for them. And when everybody that works in the system, whether it's the education system, whether it's the medical system, whether it's, you know, like the corporate world, it's like they're all trained like little monkeys to do things, you know, in a certain way. Just mainly to make garbage people lots and lots of money, okay? Welcome to the capitalist system. It's not just capitalist, it's like corporate, materialistic, crappity crap. So I don't just blame capitalism, but if you have a system that's revolving entirely around making as much money as possible, yeah, that's going to be a crap system that doesn't have any morals or ethics or standards, okay? Christian communism, that's what I want. Seriously though, seriously, Axe is ideal. But that would involve, you know, weeding out the entire government and starting over and, you know, we'd probably have to kill a bunch of people, you know? And like, that's not Christian, you know? That's not Christian at all. So, you know, we're kind of fucked. So I really don't know, like, what people think, like, the solution is. Like, I mean, I have solutions to a lot of problems in this country, but people don't want them, you know? And it's like, it might be a solution on, like, a small scale, but on a larger scale, it's like, you have to think about things like that. And, you know, I'm still a woman, remember that. I'm very, very intuitive, but there's only so much I can do with that. Like, I can't fix the system. But don't worry, I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely thinking about it. I'll get back to you, Vortex. I'm making more posters, all right? I'm making more posters. Since so many people seem to think that, like, making posters is the way to bring about change. Like, that's what we've been doing, okay? Since I haven't smoked any weed in the past several weeks, I've been really, really motivated to make more posters, okay? But yeah, anyway. Undifferentiated schizophrenics, high functioning, obviously. I used to be literally high functioning, like cannabis, get it? I mean, I don't have to do that anymore, but it definitely helped for a while to sort of figure out my place in the world and understand that suicide was not the solution. So this song, though, I'm not down. I used to be down. I was down for a long time. But then I just kind of sat in my shit and analyzed it. And it helped to do that. And rather than just, like, try to remove myself and, like, run away from it, I didn't do that. I did the opposite. And, like, you know, this country, most of the people that live here, they'll just, like, go out of their way to not have to face their problems. Whereas I just headed straight towards my problems. I was like, I'm facing this head on. And that might have been problematic in the one sense because I was self-destructive, but I was, you know, trying to understand why I was that way. But, you know, just looking back on my life and the way that I used to live and how much I used to drink, It's crazy that I'm still alive, dude. And anybody that knew me back then would tell you, like, yeah, I thought you were gonna die, dude. I thought you were gonna be a goner. I thought that you were gonna die of alcohol poisoning or some shit, you know? They would tell you, like, that, yeah, my life was so crazy, dude. I used to shoplift all the time. So, yeah, I definitely have lived a life that made that crucifixion, like, really mean something, you know? Like, that's why I'm so strong in my faith. And I really do believe that the whole reason why the Lord was like, okay, we're just gonna let her keep chugging that vodka bottle, because, like, eventually she's really gonna understand what my son did for her, you know? So I have to look at it from that perspective. Otherwise, I'll just keep beating myself up, which is exactly what the devil wants me to do. So fuck him, right? Jesus came here to snuff him out. I don't think that people realize, like, what the devil's purpose is. Like, it's not really like it's the devil. It's like he's convincing you to make the choice. Like, so you could say, oh, the devil made me do it. The devil made me do it. But, like, I mean, I chose to do all of the bad things that I did. You know? So it's about free will. It's about you not choosing God. It's about you choosing evil. But if you, like, understand that about yourself, if you understand that you have the propensity to do that, then you'll also understand how good God is, and you'll understand, like, what salvation really means. And I think that a lot of people that claim that they believe in God and Jesus and all that, they don't really believe it, because they have no idea how bad they could be if they allowed themselves that luxury. But, you know, yours truly made it obvious that she had a lot of suicidal tendencies. But, you know, I'm back,